Today, in the media conference with Lal Goel, which is brought to you by V4 News, Global TV, V4 Stream, Malnadu TV, News Gaon Se, Samvad Sarokar News, Organ Donation India Foundation and Gyan, our endeavor is to enlighten you with the current topic. And today's topic is a very, very important and relevant topic. And the topic is wheelchair sports persons, challenges and solutions. But before I will go to the main topic, I would like to inform you that the today country is celebrating Cisf Raising Day. The Central Industrial Security Force, CISF, Raising Day is observed every year on 10th March. The CISF was set up in 1969 under the Act of the Parliament of India. It works under the Union Ministry of Home Affairs and its headquarters is in New Delhi. This organization works for seaways, airways, and some of the major installations in India. There are some reserved battalions in the CISF which work with the state police to protect law and orders. Media conference with Lal Goel salute all the CISF personnel for their tireless working to safeguard the human lives and the important installations of our country. Today, we are also observing No Smoking Day. No Smoking Day is observed every year on the second Wednesday of the March to encourage people over the world to quit smoking. The first No Smoking Day was on Ash Wednesday in 1984, and it now takes place on the second Wednesday in March. Smoking is one of the worst habits one can adopt. The health risks are known to all, but still thousands of youth between 12 to 17 years of age start smoking each day. Some start it out of curiosity and others might just want to look like grown-ups. Media conference with Lal Goel sincerely hope that by observing No Smoking Day, we all be able to create more awareness about the ill effects of smoking. Now coming to the main topic, that is the wheelchair sports persons, challenges and solutions. People with disabilities are vulnerable because of the many barriers we face, attitudinal, physical and financial. Addressing these barriers is within our reach and we have a moral duty to do so. But most important, addressing these barriers will unlock the potential of so many people with so much to contribute to the world. Governments everywhere can no longer overlook the hundreds of millions of people with disabilities who are denied access to health, rehabilitation, support, education, and employment and never get the chance to shine. This quote is by Stephen Hawking. Disabled population in India as per census 2011 and updated by in 2016. In India, out of 121 crore population at that time, 2.68 crore persons are disabled, which is 2.21% of the total population. Among the disabled population, 56%, that is 1.5 crore are males and 44%, 1.18 crores are females. Majority, 69% of the disabled population resided in rural areas. That is 1.86 crore disabled persons in rural area and 0.81 crore in urban area. Wheelchair sports pertains to sporting activities where participants use wheelchairs, either manual or power. There are a number of sports that have been adopted to be played by people in wheelchairs. Just because you are in a wheelchair doesn't mean you can't enjoy the competitiveness and just all about around fun that playing sports offers you. There are a wide range of sports that have been adapted to be played by people with varying types of disability as well as several that are unique to disabled sports. Sport plays a vital role in the rehabilitation of those with disabilities and can often be a catalyst for increased confidence and self-esteem. More and more wheelchair users are playing sports every day, some even on a professional level. Today, there are a large number of wheelchair sports associations and gaming opportunities for your wheelchair, and you all have to do is educate yourself regarding playing the game safely and find out what options you have in choosing a suitable wheelchair sport. There are many types of wheelchair sports. Among them are racing, basketball, tennis, table tennis, badminton, bowling, hockey, football, and baseball. Some of them are played in manual wheelchairs, while others in electric wheelchairs. Wheelchairs used for sport have evolved to suit the specific need of that sport. They are usually non-folding to increase rigidity, with negative camber for the wheels, which provides stability and is helpful for making sharp turns, and often are made of composite lightweight materials. To assist in sport playing in wheelchairs, accessories are available including belts and harness, gloves, bag for carrying items, drink holders, and especially specialty back supports. Wheelchair basketball is a nascent sport in India with the official Indian Wheelchair Basketball Federation, WBFI, in place. Though the sport has been popular among the veterans of armed forces, challenges encountered while pursuing it are many. The severe lack of wheelchair accessibility during trials or camps and creating awareness about the sport among persons with disability have been WBFI's main concerns. The lack of accessibility when it comes to accommodation, transportation, and restrooms constantly hinder the players, and the northeast states also face the same issue. Every state has different problems. In Guwahati, the stadium was not wheelchair friendly. I can't say today, but it was, as mentioned in the search, what I have done in research in the Google. So I think Mr. Ravinder Singh, when he will be speaking, he will highlight more. He will throw the light on more about this. The sports body said for the first time, persons with disabilities were coming to the stadium and they regretted not being making it accessible to them. Nobody could enter the washroom there. The sports body was willing to provide with volunteers, but no players will prefer to be lifted by someone from morning to night. The WBFI currently has 40 wheelchairs, with each costing nearly 40,000 rupees. Due to the lack of manufacturers, they are imported from United Kingdoms. Now, to discuss today's very, very important topic, we have very elite, experienced, learned, and those who are on the helm of the on the top, on the NGOs or the government or the coaches, as well as the players who are playing and facing the challenges themselves. The panel with us, I would like to invite and introduce my first panelist. He is Mr. Ravinder Singh. Mr. Ravinder Singh is the Chief Executive Officer of Skill Council for Persons with Disability, New Delhi. Mr. Ravinder Singh has a rich experience in the skill development sector in India. Mr. Ravinder Singh is a certified CSR professional from Indian Institute for Corporate Affairs, a Ministry of Corporate Affairs body, and has worked closely with a number of corporates on their CSR initiatives. Mr. Ravinder Singh started his career with BFSI sector, where he has worked with Citibank and Bank of America. He has been the founder team member of HDFC Bank and Kotak Mahindra Bank. Mr. Ravinder Singh has been associated with training and OD for Reliance Infocam, Bharti Airtel, Bharti Infratel, Bharti Field Fresh, etc., where he led a number of transformational training initiatives. Mr. Ravinder Singh is a postgraduate from St. Stephen's College from the University of Delhi. He is an avid reader and enjoys gardening. Welcome, Mr. Ravinder Singh, on our show. Mr. Ravinder Singh, you are the key person today because you are dealing with these problems of the persons the disability, and you are the CEO of the Skill Council for Persons with Disability, and you are directly in touch with the government. Now, we would like to know first about your this is about the Skill Council for Persons and Disability and your views about the wheelchair sports persons, challenges and solutions. Mr. Ravinder Singh, please.
Thank you, Mr. Goel, for inviting me to this prestigious conference. And namaskar to all the participants and the viewers of the show. Skill Council for Persons with Disability was established 5 years back with the aim of developing job roles and training programs specific to a specific disability and integrating them with the industry. So what the objective is that we will not train in a manner where any of the passed out candidates will have any degree of learning or professional capability less than a regular candidate. With that being the aim, we work very closely with the industry, the other sector skill councils, and being an integral part of Ministry of Skill Development, we also work with the National Council for Vocational Education and Training. All our courses that are being rolled out are registered on the qualification register of the government, and that's how the training programs are conducted. Coming quickly to the wheelchair-bound sports person, this is something very integral not only to the sports person but also to regular persons who are wheelchair-bound or having other kind of locomotor disorder. There are three challenges. First and foremost is a societal challenge. Now, one doesn't realize that disability is integral to life. Either you are born with it or you acquire it because of some incidents that has happened in your life, or a degenerative musculoskeletal degeneration over a period of time. What happens, society does not view people with glasses. If you take off your glasses, for example, if I take off my glasses, I cannot drive. I am disabled. My glasses are assistive aid. So people do not realize that people are not disabled, people are slightly differently abled, and all that needs is to have some kind of an assistive aid and technology to support the person. So first is the societal belief. I'll call it unconscious disabled and conscious disabled. By unconscious disabled, I mean is when somebody views a person with glasses, no issues. I mean, I'm comfortable working, talking with the person. Even the person takes off the glasses, not an issue. But suddenly when I realize somebody is on a wheelchair, or somebody is using a hearing aid, or somebody is visually disabled, that's where my biases start creeping in. And that becomes a big challenge, not only in the society at large, but also specific to the industries and when one moves around. Second is the accessibility challenge. One does not realize that so many of the benefits that everybody is using today is a factor of integrating the technology with the disabled population. A small example, the sliding doors that we see at the airports and many such large buildings were actually designed for the wheelchair-bound person so that the person doesn't have to actually reach out and open the door. The automatic washing machine was also such invention. So my plea to all the industries that I work with or that I do sensitization workshop is that why don't you make technology which looks first into how it can be made accessible for persons with various kind of disabilities, and then it can become common use for everybody else. So it is an integrated technological solution. There's a large number of organizations now who are stepping up and developing such tools and technologies. We are also working with the government to see how we can find funding for these early pioneers. And I hope that over the next few years, we will be able to have technology available in the country and not start importing and not continue to import from over the world. The third component is the sensitization of the industries and other organizations or institutions to understand the challenges faced by persons with disability. Now, Mr. Lal very clearly mentioned the challenge that is faced by the stadium, which is at Guwahati. I'm sure there's a large number of such sports institutions which has never envisaged that they will have a differently able population coming in, either for playing or for participating. They fail to realize that nearly 1/6 of the global population is differently able. And that's a huge, huge consumer base. If the industries, organizations don't start focusing on this, because everything has to drive from a business solution first. Nobody will invest purely for the sake of investment. Some do because yes, it is required. But that is not what we want. We don't want it to be a charity function. We want it to be a function which is integral to the society. And that can only happen when these business houses and organizations realize that this 1/6 of the population forms a huge, one of the largest consumer bases. That driving the economy, that driving the businesses, I'm sure over a period of time, with continuous sensitization of organizations, institutions, corporates, we will be able to break barriers. I'm happy to share that when we are now working with the industries and talking to them, a lot of industries are coming forward and saying it makes a business sense to hire a person who is differently able. 3 clear reasons come out. Longevity of the person. As compared to a regular candidate, it is found that the retention rate by a differently able population is up by close to 19.5%. Productivity and performance. Differently able persons, when I'm reviewing various industries who have been working in those organizations for a period of 2 to 3 years, have demonstrated production and productivity rate as high as 33% as compared to a regular candidate. And last and not the least, the stakeholders have started valuing these organizations. So it actually makes a business sense to hire a differently abled person. And therefore, when these institutions start driving integration of differently abled people, society at large will follow suit. So with that, I thank you, Mr. Goel, for organizing this conference, and I look forward to hearing from other views also. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ravinder Singh. Anyone of you wanted to ask any questions right now, because he has to go for the meeting in the ministry? Yes, Mr. Lewis, you want to ask any question first? You can ask.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir, Mr. Ravinder Singh, sir, for your valuable inputs. Like you already covered, accessibility, I think that is one of the major problems in our country, even in stadiums. So if I think all the Sai stadiums and all are now becoming accessible. So I think if you can give more emphasis on this, on all the stadiums in the country, if they are made accessible, including the washrooms, so that would be great.
Washrooms are the biggest challenge. So I totally agree with you, sir. It's not only for the participants, but also for the audience. We have to integrate people in large quantities into the mainstream. And I totally agree with you.
Mr. Singh, my experience in the other countries are that even the local transport, I have seen myself the local buses, when they stop on the bus stop, if they see any wheelchair person there, the steps come down, the person enters on the wheelchair only, and then the steps come down hydraulically or mechanically. Are we planning to do such types of thing all over India in the transport sector?
So, being from skilling, I'll not be able to comment from the administration side, but there are two challenges that I view when I discuss with various people. The efforts are made, but efforts become disjointed. So I'll give you a very simple example. You have many times the new buses coming up, which tend to have wheelchair accessibility available to them. But suddenly you realize the pavements are not wheelchair accessible. The pavements still have the step function there without the slope and the gradient that is available. Many a times the person who's making the gradient doesn't realize what is the gradient requirement. I mean, ideal gradient requirement is 1:20. But many a times you'll find the gradient is at par with the staircase which is there. Many a times as much as 33 degrees or as much as 45 degrees also. I mean, the regular person can't even walk on those ramps, he will take the wheelchair. So a lot of sensitization is required. We, at every opportunity, are talking to various individuals to make them aware. We are also developing a special job called the Job Coach Inclusivity, so that this person can then work with various industries to help integrate the person with a regular workforce. Because that is again another challenge. How do you integrate the person with a regular workforce? So that's one part. I'll take this matter up also with the Sports Sector Skill Council to see how we can have the various manpower deployed at various stadiums and sports facilities. If we can have some differently able persons integrated into the workforce, they themselves will then start driving the accessibility and various components within their organization. So that's what I will take up. That's what my commitment is.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Singh. Because I have seen even the stadiums abroad, whether it's a Lord's or any stadium in UK or other countries, they have the specific toilets, the washrooms for the wheelchair people everywhere. You name anything, because they always treat the wheelchair people as a most priority people, and they are not privileged people rather. So why not we, as you have rightly said about the first thing, that is the societal change. How we can bring the societal change? Who is going to take the lead? Do you think it is the duty of the politicians, or it is the duty of the civil society to come forward and take a plunge to say that we want to change the mindset of the society, so that the wheelchair people can have the same same benefits what a normal person is getting? What do you say about this, Mr. Singh?
Very pertinent question, Mr. Goel. Very pertinent question. And thank you for asking this. See, what happens is integration into society is a huge challenge because it arises with a lot of mind blockages that exist. For example, you see, many decades back, we had segregated classrooms for girls and boys. Over a period of time, you started finding that the classrooms are getting integrated and you had mixed batches being trained, so on and so forth. To the extent you started having a mixed dormitory for people to stay, because that's how the healthy understanding of each other is there, and that's how you grow. we have to progressively move away from the realm of having segregated classrooms for persons with disability. These people have to start integrating at the school level itself. You can't expect the integration to happen in the adult stage if it has not happened at the childhood. So that's where the barriers in the mind are developed, and that's where it has to be broken. So we are working with schools also, trying to take the skill development for persons with disability to school also, so that we can have the sensitization there. What also is required is sensitization of the teachers and the other faculties into these institutions to the nature of disability. And I will stop calling it disability now, because progressively everywhere I've been saying they are not disabled. Only thing is they are differently able. And a differently abled person doesn't mean that it's any less than any other person. I'm differently abled person, possibly I'll have far more potential in something that I'm doing as compared to a normal. And I'll give you a very small example. We work very closely with the hospitality sector, where we have speech and hearing impaired candidates who work in the restaurant. Now, early in the morning, when the restaurants are having breakfast in the hotels, etc., it's very noisy, very crowded, it's a very rush hour kind of an environment. And many a times there's a person who's raised a hand asking for something, and a regular candidate misses out. 100% are candidates, because their peripheral vision is so high, are able to identify that customer, quickly move up to them, take their orders, understand what they're wanting, and cater to the need. So it is not somebody who's disabled. He's a person who's differently able, and as a result, his capability on some function is much higher than the other candidates.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Singh. Mr. Javed would like to ask a question. Yes, Mr. Javed.
I have exactly 2 minutes now, Mr. Goel.
Yeah, Mr. Javed.
Yeah,
quick question.
रविंदर जी, रविंदर जी, आपने थोड़ी देर पहले बोला कि हम पर्सन डिसेबिलिटी नहीं है, डिसेबल नहीं है, डिफरेंटली एबल्ड है. तो मैं इस बात पर कहना चाहूंगा कि हमें कोई कहता है कि फॉर एग्जांपल आजकल कहने लगे दिव्यांग कहते हैं, कोई पर्सन डिफरेंटली एबल्ड, कोई स्पेशली एबल्ड. तो इट्स अ टर्म कि पर्सन विद डिसेबिलिटी, ये टर्म बहुत सारे साइंटिस्ट ने डिसाइड करके बात की इसके ऊपर, साइकोलॉजिस्ट थे बहुत सारे, कि पहले पर्सन को देखो देन उसकी डिसेबिलिटी को देखो. हम सोसाइटी का एक माइंडसेट चेंज करना चाहते हैं, बट आप भी तो वही कर रहे हैं कि आप भी डिफरेंटली एबल्ड कह रहे हैं हमें, इसमें पर्सन कहीं नहीं आता. तो ये भी तो एक चीज है, माइंडसेट गलत ही है कि हमको स्पेशल मत देखो, ना ही नॉर्मल देखो, एक नॉर्मल पर्सन की तरह एक पर्सन देखो. फॉर एग्जांपल, अगर हम एक देखते हैं कि काबिल, आपने मूवी देखी होंगी ऋतिक रोशन की, तो उसको देखने वाला पहले मैंने बहुत सारे स्कूल्स में, कॉलेजेस में मैं मोटिवेशनल स्पीक करता हूँ.
चौधरी साहब, आपका वो मेरे ख्याल से क्वेश्चन वो समझ गए हैं. रविंदर सिंह जी को जाना है, वो आंसर देंगे. यस प्लीज मिस्टर सिंह.
प्लीज.
तो जावेद जी, थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर आस्किंग. ये बहुत ही आपने अच्छा प्रश्न पूछा है. मेरा डिफरेंटली एबल्ड कहने का तात्पर्य किसी प्रकार से भी ये नहीं कहना कि वो व्यक्ति अलग है. मैं सिर्फ इस प्रकार से कहना चाहता हूँ कि जो उनकी कोई चीज को समझने की, सीखने की और करने की क्षमता है, वो एक विभिन्न प्रकार से किसी और से अलग है, और वो एक स्पेशल एबिलिटी है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, जैसे कि हम लोग कोई ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम करते हैं, अगर मुझे विजुअली इम्पेयर्ड पर्सन को कंप्यूटर सिखाना है, मुझे शायद किसी अलग पद्धति से उसे सिखाना पड़ेगा, लेकिन वो जरूर सीख जाता है. और कई क्षेत्रों में हमने पाया है कि दे आर डूइंग द वर्क ब्रिलियंटली. Same thing is when I'm training somebody who is having speech and hearing impairment, or I am teaching somebody who has got an intellectually challenged person. So वहाँ पे, because of the ability being different, the training methodology and the process, उसमें विभिन्नता आती है, outcome में कहीं नहीं आती है. So they are all equal in terms of what we are wanting to achieve in life and what they should be doing.
Okay, thank you. Any other question by Miss Preethi or Miss Insha, or? Okay, I think, Miss Insha wants to talk. Yes, just ask fast. Yes.
Hello, sir. Good morning. Good morning, Ravinder, sir. Sir, I don't have any question, but I am thankful. I heard you that you are thinking so much about the inclusive system, and this is the high time we should think about the inclusive system in our society. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us.
Thank you. I think Miss Preethi also wants to ask. Miss Preethi, you want to ask? But no. Okay, no. You. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Singh. Today you have given time. I am really thankful that although you are supposed to attend the important meeting, but you are sitting in the car attending this. It shows that how much commitment you have and your organization is having for those who are on the wheelchair. Thank you very much, Mr. Ravinder Singh, for joining us. Now I would like to invite my next guest, and he is Captain Louis George Meprath. Captain Louis is the former captain Indian Navy basketball team. He is head coach of Indian women's wheelchair basketball team. He was commanding officer of number 1 Maharashtra Naval Unit NCC at Mumbai 2011 to 2013. He is MTech from IIT Mumbai, PGDHRM from IGNOU, and MPhil from Mumbai University. He won several awards and commendations. He was the member of the services team for the Senior National Basketball Championship at Indore in 1980. He is coaching school children in basketball from 1999. He is Basketball Federation of India's BFI's A panel referee for state and national level basketball championships for last 15 years. Qualified FIBA level 1, 2, and 3 for basketball coaches courses conducted by the International Basketball Association, FIBA. He is the referee of wheelchair basketball nationals from 2016. Welcome, Captain Louis George, on our show. Captain Louis George, although you have already heard and you have already asked one question, you have heard what Mr. Ravinder Singh has mentioned. Now, you are closely associated with the wheelchair sports person. You being a coach, and you are coaching especially the women's wheelchair basketball team. Now, you know what are the challenges the wheelchair sports persons are facing. And you know very closely, and you know the solutions also, and you know the reality, what is the real position, whether they are those challenges can be solved or not, or we are not intent to solve. So we would like to know from you the wheelchair sports persons challenges and solution. Captain Louis, please.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Goel, for inviting me to this panel where all the very interesting people are there. I can see Insha smiling. Insha is there, Javed is there, Preethi is there. Thank you all of you for coming to this seminar. I will quickly run through what I have learned in the last 5 years. The major problem associated with wheelchair persons, not only wheelchair players, wheelchair persons, is depression. Once you get into an accident for 3 or 4 years in India, that is the normal time you take 3 to 4 years or 5 years to get out of it and come outside the house. This was the state earlier. Now, of course, things are better because people are getting more and more opportunities. They come to know that they can play wheelchair basketball, wheelchair tennis, and other games on wheelchair they can play. So this is how they come out of depression. Then I also tell my players to go out and find out other wheelchair people so that they can come out of their house and play. The second thing, like Mr. Ravinder Singh also said, is the people's perception of disability. In many of the places in India, disability is considered a curse, sin of the past life. One must have sinned something bad to be on a wheelchair. For example, I will give you an example. Once in a mall, one of our wheelchair players, there was a lady with a young daughter with 4 to 5 years old. So she was warning her, if you are naughty in this mall and if you run around and don't listen to me, you will end up like the wheelchair person on the wheelchair. So this is the people's perception of disability. And secondly, people generally associate disability with sadness. Hence, they do not want to interact with the disabled. So there is no meaningful interaction with the disabled people to know their needs and requirements. And then people think about charity. People believe that disabled people need only charity, and by giving charity, they have done their duty. Okay, that is the thing. Secondly, like I already told, accessibility. Now, I've got a player in Bombay who comes from about 20 kilometers off, and she comes to practice. She gets into the local train, and in the stations, in some stations, they have got ramps, some stations they've got escalators, some stations they've got steps. So wherever there are steps, people carry her up and down the steps, and she gets into the local and gets into a taxi and then comes to the practice. So accessibility is a very important part. Accessibility in buses. We have low floor buses, and like Mr. Ravinder Singh said, the buses are there, but when they get out, it is difficult because it is not compatible with the roads and the pavements. Then the trains should be made accessible. The local trains in Bombay, we have disabled compartment, which is very good. But if you go there and see, you will find all other people except the disabled in the local trains in Bombay. So accessibility is one of the very important things. And then washrooms. How can we help? I know it's all very easy to make accessible washrooms. The door should be at least 60 to 65 centimeters for the normal wheelchair to go in. And in many hotels, they have it. They have accessible where a wheelchair can go in. But they forgot one thing. If the door opens inwards, when the door opens inwards into the toilet, the wheelchair goes in, but the door cannot be closed. So all these simple things we have to keep in mind. And I think India is improving. There are a lot of wheelchair-friendly stadiums, wheelchair-friendly washrooms. Like when we practice in Bombay, there are ramps there. We practice in the Bombay University Stadium, and the ramps are there. The wheelchair, the bathroom is accessible. So it is a very, they've got an indoor stadium. So I think it's not difficult to make accessibility okay. The next thing is government support. There are major laws which say that all buildings should be accessible, but this is only on paper. It has not been implemented in spirit. So the government can do their bit by making sure that all the buildings are accessible and have accessible washrooms. So like Mr. Goel said, more than about 3% of India have the disabled person, about 3 crores, that is about 2.8. This is data about 5-6 years back. So about 3 crores people are disabled. So I don't think that we should now shy away from making everything accessible. Accessible stadiums, accessible houses, accessible buildings, accessible washrooms, accessible buses, accessible taxis, accessible auto rickshaws. So these are the things which require help. And then we have the equipment. Like if the problems of wheelchair basketball players, I'll tell you, is equipment. If you have to buy a sports wheelchair, it costs about a basic model costs about 40 to 50,000. And that is for the basic model. And if you go into the higher end models, this comes about 5 lakhs per wheelchair. So all these are very important. So how do we manage these finances? The wheelchair players, it's very difficult. Even coming for practice, if they have to come by taxi, it costs about 300 to 400 rupees one way. That means about 800 rupees in a day they have to spend on taxis. If they come for practice twice a week, 1600 rupees is gone. From where do we get this money? So one way out, one solution is the CSR way. The corporate social responsibility. We should talk to companies. In Maharashtra, our association has done a very good job. We have talked to Mazgaon Dogs, and they are our CSR partners, and they have given us 25 lakhs to buy equipment, to take part in nationals, to give honorarium to coaches, to give transport allowance to players. So that way, Mazgaon Dogs has been helping us in this year. Similarly, we have next year also we will approach various companies. So this is one way of getting help. This is known as the CSR route. So these are all the various things, and how we can help. I'll just summarize. We can create awareness. Not only wheelchair basketball coaches, even the other coaches who are coaching normal able-bodied basketball, or a hockey coach or a football coach, he can create awareness among his players so that they know what is how a wheelchair player can progress in life. And then the next point, how we can help, like I told earlier, accessibility of buildings, gymnasiums, transports, stadium, buses, trains, autos, taxis, all these should be accessible. Then volunteers. This is very important. Like when we are practicing in Bombay University, Cognizant, a company, Cognizant has given us the volunteers and are helping us. They help our wheelchair players to shift from wheelchair for the beginners. For the senior players do not require this help, they shift on their own. But the beginners, they require help. They require the wheelchairs to be brought from the store. They require to be shifting from their normal wheelchair to the sports wheelchair. So volunteers. So all of us can volunteer. I know it's a difficult job. It is a pro bono job. We won't be paid for it, but at least you get a satisfaction that you're helping somebody to do better in life. And last but not the least, we should have manufacturing facilities in India where the wheelchairs are made in India. We must be like our Prime Minister says, we must be Atmanirbhar, and we must have manufacturing facilities in India. Wheelchairs, it's not very difficult. If we can make tanks and ships and rockets, why can't we make wheelchairs? At present, we are importing wheelchairs from the United Kingdom, and therefore the cost increases due to the customs duty and transportation. If you reduce all these costs, the cost can come down for a very good wheelchair from 5 lakhs, it can come down to 2 lakhs. So we should think about making in India, and like it should be a business model, like Mr. Ravinder Singh said. We cannot expect people to do it for charity. We should be able to do that so that their business also grows, and then we have a lot of wheelchair manufacturers in India. With this, I conclude my short speech, and if there are any questions, I'm ready to answer them.
Thank you very much, Mr. Luis. The question we will take in the next round. Thank you very much. And what Mr. Luis have mentioned is very, very alarming. Why? What happened to the civil society? Forget about the politicians or the government. Why the civil society is not taking their view? They're changing their mindset. After all, anybody disabled person is also from their own family. We have to consider that anyone today I am a normal person, I might be not there a normal person tomorrow. Accident can happen with anybody, anyone can. So we should always have this feeling, and we should try to see to it that whosoever is on wheelchair or disabled, we must give them the importance. And as you are mentioning about the local trains, I have traveled in UK, and I found that almost all the stations, they have mentioned that this lift goes up to this for the wheelchair. If there is a problem, if there is some work is going on in that particular station, for last 2 or 3 stations before, the signs are there everywhere that particular station is closed for the lift work is on. So if you want to utilize the lift, please step down in the next station or the station before. These are the common things which can be done. Why we can't do it? This is something which anyone can do it if he is in the railway system, but we are not interested to do it. And as you have mentioned about that, in local trains you have a different compartment for the disabled, and abled people are sitting there. Now this is what we have seen. I have not seen anywhere in the world the people never occupy any seat if there is something mentioned, or if they are sitting and if they just see, immediately the offer. I am not a physically disabled, but because of my age, whenever if I travel in USA or UK or anywhere in the world, immediately the people step up and say, no, sir, please sit down. These type of courtesies are there. Why we can't show the courtesy to the person who is disabled? That is the main thing. The mindset has to be changed, and it has to be changed in the civil society first. And what Mr. Ravinder Singh said rightly, that from the childhood, from the school level, we have to see that the same school should be there, same class should be there, no different schools, no special schools. We must see that so that the inclusiveness will start, that bonding will start from the childhood. Thank you very much, Captain Lewis, for giving your views. Now I would like to invite my next guest, and he is Mr. Javed Chaudhary. Mr. Javed Chaudhary is the international wheelchair basketball player. He is 2 times national gold medalist. He won Best Player of the Year and won international medal in Hana Loud International Tournament. Also appeared in television show Dance Diwane 2 in Colors channel, which was judged by famous actress Madhuri Dixit. Welcome, Mr. Javed Chaudhary, on our show. Mr. Chaudhary, you have heard Mr. Ravinder Singh as well as Captain Lewis, and both have given their views about the challenges faced by the wheelchair sports person. Now, you being yourself a wheelchair basketball player, and you have won 2 gold medals, you have raised our national flag on so high. Now, you are the right person to tell us the wheelchair sports person's challenges and solutions. Mr. Javed Chaudhary, please.
थैंक यू। फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल शुक्रिया करना चाहूंगा आपका मुझे बुलाने के लिए इस कॉन्फ्रेंस में। पहली बात तो जैसे कि सबने कहा कि सबसे पहली इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है पर्सन विद डिसेबिलिटी, कि इनको हम क्या बुलाया जाए। अब जैसे आपने कहा कि सोसाइटी में चेंज नहीं, क्यों नहीं सोसाइटी में चेंज आ रहा, जो पॉलिटिकल का तो बात साइड में रही, सोसाइटी में चेंज क्यों नहीं आ रहा? सोसाइटी में तब चेंज आएगा जब हमारे लीडर्स चेंज होंगे, बिकॉज सोसाइटी को चेंज करना हमारे लीडर्स का काम है। अगर आप मुझे पर्सन विद डिसेबिलिटी कहो तो पहले पर्सन दिखाई देगा, देन उसकी डिसेबिलिटी दिखाई देंगे। अगर आप हमें दिव्यांग कहोगे तो हमें पूजेंगे ही लोग, और हम नहीं चाहते कोई हमें पूजे। या तो दैट्स द फर्स्ट थिंग कि हमें क्या बोलना चाहिए, जिससे कि माइंडसेट लोगों का चेंज होगा देखने का। अगर मैं व्हील चेयर पे निकलूं तो लोगों को आश्चर्य नहीं होगा, क्योंकि वो अभी जब फॉर एग्जांपल मैं आर्टिफिशियल लेग पहनकर निकलता हूँ घर से बाहर, तो पहले मुझे 2 दिन 3 दिन सबने देखा, मैं दिल्ली शिफ्ट हुआ हूं तो दिल्ली में देखते थे लोग, बट धीरे धीरे उन्हें भी हैबिचुअल हुआ, वो देखने लगे यार लाइक कि हाँ यार ये बंदा सब कुछ कर सकता है। ऐसे ही माइंडसेट चेंज होगा। ये माइंडसेट चेंज करने के लिए सबसे पहली चीज है हमारे लीडर्स को उसके ऊपर काम करना होगा कि वो बोलते क्या है। वर्ड्स ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट होते हैं। द सेकंड थिंग, ये फर्स्ट प्रॉब्लम है कि जो हर पर्सन विद डिसेबिलिटी को फेस करना होता है कि जैसे कि फर्स्ट थिंग, बहुत सारे पर्सन विद डिसेबिलिटी जिनकी शादी नहीं हो पाती। एक तो पर्सन विद डिसेबिलिटी के साथ ही उसे शादी करनी होती है, नॉर्मल बंदे कर नहीं पाते क्योंकि वो उन्हें दिव्यांग मानते हैं या भगवान के अंग है, उनसे कैसे शादी करें। तो ये हम नहीं सोच पाते कि व्हील चेयर, एक्सेसिबिलिटी, ये प्रॉब्लम्स तो है ही उनके लाइफ में। ये तो जब से जो अगर बॉर्न डिसेबल्ड है उनके साथ भी है, या फिर जो किसी के साथ एक्सीडेंट हो गया उनके साथ भी है। बट एक लाइफ जो है उनके पास, उसकी लाइफ स्पेन उनके पास कोई पार्टनर नहीं होना बहुत बड़ी दिक्कत है। अगर आप इसके बारे में सोचो तो शायद आपको पता चले कि कितने सारे लोग हैं कि चूंकि उनका माइंडसेट भी ऐसा है कि यार इस जिंदगी में तो शायद हमारी शादी नहीं होने वाली, चलो नेक्स्ट लाइफ में देखेंगे, बेटर हो जाएगा तो शायद हमारी शादी होगी। ऐसे मैंने बहुत सारों को कहते हुए सुना है। दैट्स द फर्स्ट थिंग। एंड द सेकंड थिंग इज कि आप सब यहाँ पर देख रहे हो कि आपने डाटा बताया 2.68 करोड़ पीपल पर्सन विद डिसेबिलिटी है, जिसमें से 60% पर्सन विद डिसेबिलिटी रूरल एरिया में एग्जिस्ट करते हैं। अगर आप उसको और डिटेल में थोड़ा सा स्टडी करें तो आपको पता चलेगा कि उस 100% में से लगभग 45 to 50% पर्सन विद डिसेबिलिटी अनएजुकेटेड है, और उस 40 to 55% में से भी 60% वुमेन अनएजुकेटेड है। जस्ट इमेजिन कि एक वुमेन पर्सन विद डिसेबिलिटी जो अनएजुकेटेड है, वो टोटल लाइफ किसी न किसी के ऊपर डिपेंडेंट है। और कितने लोग होंगे कि जो ऐसी पर्सन विद डिसेबिलिटी की जो वुमेन से उनके साथ शादी करना चाहेंगे। जस्ट वो एक तरह से आप देखा जाए ना, वो बोझ होते हैं, माना जाता है उन्हें बोझ, जो कि उनके माँ बाप के पास, और माँ बाप जब गुजर जाते हैं तो उनके भाई बहन या किसी न किसी रिलेटिव्स के पास। तो हमें फर्स्ट थिंग चेंज करनी होगी कि उनको एजुकेशन सिस्टम कैसे दिलाया जाए। क्योंकि हमारे तो चलो बसेस ट्रैवल्स तो ये तो बहुत बड़ी बात है क्योंकि सेकंड आएगा, बट फर्स्ट हमें घर से बाहर निकलने के लिए उनके घर भी एक्सेसिबल नहीं है। घर से बाहर निकलते हुए रास्तों से स्कूल जाते हुए एक भी स्कूल एक्सेसिबल नहीं है, जबकि रूल्स है कि बिल्डिंग्स एक्सेसिबल होनी चाहिए, गवर्नमेंट का रूल है। बट गवर्नमेंट के खुद जो इंस्टीट्यूट्स है, बड़ी बड़ी सिटीज को छोड़ दिया जाए, आप हाथ में गिन सकते हो ऐसी सिटीज है जहां पे स्कूल एक्सेसिबल होगा, बट रूरल एरिया में 60% पॉपुलेशन है जहां के स्कूल एक्सेसिबल नहीं है। तो ये हम बात करना चाहिए इस चीज पे कि स्कूल्स को कैसे एक्सेसिबल बनाए, क्योंकि अगर एजुकेशन उनको मिला तो वो खुद उनके हक के लिए लड़ सकते हैं। हमें या आपको उनके हक के लिए लड़ने की जरूरत नहीं होगी, क्योंकि एजुकेशन ही उनको पावर दे सकता है जिससे कि वो लड़ सकते हैं। मैं घर से बाहर निकला बिकॉज आई एम एजुकेटेड। मैंने जाकर, मुझे बहुत सारे लोगों ने पता चला, मैं आज हिंदी में बात इसीलिए कर रहा हूँ कि जो बंदे सच में घर तक बैठे उन्हें पता चलना चाहिए कि हम सोल्यूशन पे भी बात कर रहे हैं, अपॉर्चुनिटीज पे बात कर रहे हैं। तो उन्हें पता चलना चाहिए कि हम बात कर रहे हैं तो वो क्या कर रहे हैं। अगर वो एजुकेटेड नहीं है तो उन्हें बाहर निकलने का ऑप्शंस कैसे मिल सकते हैं। द थर्ड थिंग कि फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल स्पोर्ट्स ये पर्सन विद डिसेबिलिटी के लिए कोई प्रोफेशन नहीं है, जस्ट पैशन। क्योंकि प्रोफेशन वो होता है जिससे कि अर्निंग होता है। स्पोर्ट्स में व्हीलचेयर बास्केटबॉल मैं खेल रहा हूँ लास्ट 5 ईयर्स से, बट आज तक मैंने एक पैसा भी कमाया नहीं है व्हीलचेयर बास्केटबॉल से। या मुझे स्पॉन्सर्स किए किसी ने व्हीलचेयर के लिए, जो व्हीलचेयर बास्केटबॉल के लिए जो मैं खेलता हूँ उसके लिए किसी ने स्पॉन्सर किया होगा मुझे, टी शर्ट्स के लिए किसी ने स्पॉन्सर किया होगा मुझे, ट्रैवल्स के लिए जो कि बास्केटबॉल खेलने के लिए जाते हैं वगैरह, या किसी ने स्पॉन्सर्स किया होगा वहां पर जो स्टेडियम्स होते हैं वहां पर अरेंजमेंट्स के लिए, रहने के लिए। बट पर्सनली मैं भी एक इंसान हूँ, आई एम 27 ईयर ओल्ड, मेरी भी जरूरतें हैं, मेरी फैमिली की भी जरूरत है, मैं सबसे बड़ा हूँ। तो किसी ने भी ये नहीं सोचा कि स्पॉन्सरशिप करे तो किस लिए करे। क्या सबको लगता है कि नहीं व्हीलचेयर दे दी, दैट्स इट, उसी में तुम गुजारा कर लो, उसी व्हीलचेयर में बैठ के व्हीलचेयर को ही खा लो, व्हीलचेयर को ही पी लो, व्हीलचेयर को ही तुमको जब हॉस्पिटल जाएंगे, क्योंकि एक पर्सन में डिसेबिलिटी के जितने भी प्लेयर्स है उनको इंजरी भी होती है, तो इंजरी जब होती है तो उनको हॉस्पिटल का खर्चा कौन देगा? नो वन थिंक्स दैट, कि कोई सोचता ही नहीं उस बारे में कि हाँ यार सच में उनका ये भी है। क्योंकि अगर आप पर्सन विद डिसेबिलिटी में देखा जाए, स्पाइनल कॉर्ड इंजरी के जो पेशेंट्स हैं, जो प्लेयर्स हैं हमारे स्पाइनल कॉर्ड इंजरी के, उनका मंथली सिर्फ जो मेडिकल इक्विपमेंट्स लगते हैं उनको, जैसे कि उनका यूरिटर वगैरह या फिर उनकी जो मेडिसिन वगैरह है, उनका खर्चा नॉर्मल बंदों से ज्यादा है, महीने का 4 से 5 हजार उसमें जाता है। और अगर आप इक्विपमेंट्स की बात किया जाए तो पर्सन विद डिसेबिलिटी के लिए गवर्नमेंट फैसिलिटीज देना तो दूर की बात है, गवर्नमेंट ने जो इक्विपमेंट्स है लाइक क्रचेस, व्हील चेयर्स, जो मेडिसिन लगती है, यूरेटर लगता है, उसके ऊपर टैक्स 25 to 30% कर दिया है। मुझे लगता है वो चीजें टैक्स फ्री होनी चाहिए, क्योंकि वो तो टैक्स फ्री होने के बाद भी अफोर्ड नहीं कर सकते, तुम 25 to 30% टैक्स उस पर लगा रहे हो, कैसे अफोर्ड करेंगे? तो ये सारी चीजें जो कि एक रियली पर्सन विद डिसेबिलिटी फेस कर रहा है, हम इस पे बात नहीं करते। हम चाहते हैं उनको एक्सेसिबिलिटी देना, एक्सेसिबिलिटी तब दूंगी जब वो घर से बाहर निकलेंगे, और उन्हें घर से बाहर अगर निकलना है तो उन्हें एजुकेशन चाहिए। उन्हें, जैसे कि रविंदर जी ने कहा, वो जॉब्स के लिए उनके लिए बात करेंगे, लेकिन जितने भी कॉर्पोरेट्स है उन्हें जॉब तब देंगे जब वो एजुकेटेड हो। अभी अगर वो एजुकेटेड ही नहीं तो आप उन्हें जॉब कहां से दोगे? वो जॉब दोगे जहां पे रूरल एरिया से उनको बाहर निकलना पड़ेगा। जस्ट इमेजिन कि मैं एक बंदा हूं, मैं भी एक रूरल एरिया से हूँ, लोनार छोटा सा गांव है, मैं घर से बाहर निकला हूं, मुझे निकलना नहीं था, बट निकला हूं क्योंकि गांव में अपॉर्चुनिटी नहीं है। हम इस चीज पे बात क्यों नहीं करें कि 60% पॉपुलेशन जब रूरल एरिया में, तो हम शहरों में ही काम करके हमें क्या हासिल होगा? हम रूरल एरिया में जाकर क्यों नहीं काम करते? स्पोर्ट्स की अगर देखा जाए तो जितने भी पर्सन विद डिसेबिलिटी स्पोर्ट्स करना चाहते हैं या फिर कर रहे हैं, वो सबके सब गांव से शहरों में शिफ्ट हुए, या फिर जो प्रॉपर शहर में थे वो शहर में ही है। अभी मुझे हर रोज फेसबुक पे कम से कम 15 से 20 लोगों के मैसेज आते हैं, सर हम स्पोर्ट्स करना चाहते हैं बट हमारे पास रहने के लिए है नहीं, क्योंकि शहरों में ही कोच है, शहरों में ही ग्राउंड है, शहरों में ही इक्विपमेंट्स है, तो हम करना चाहते हैं लेकिन वहां आकर रहने का खर्चा हम अफोर्ड नहीं कर सकते। ये मुझे लगता है रियल स्पोर्ट्स के पर्सन की प्रॉब्लम्स है। ये शायद पर्सन विद डिसेबिलिटी के भी है, लेकिन नॉर्मल स्पोर्ट्स पर्सन की भी यही प्रॉब्लम है, क्योंकि हम हमारे देखने का नजरिया नहीं बदल रहे। जस्ट इमेजिन कि अगर मैं किसी फॉर एग्जांपल मैं जाता हूँ किसी के पास के स्पॉन्सरशिप के लिए कि सर मुझे अकोमोडेशन, फूड और ट्रैवल्स के लिए स्पॉन्सरशिप चाहिए, तो दे आर थिंकिंग कि ओके आप पर्सन विद डिसेबिलिटी, चलो चैरिटी कर देते। इट्स नॉट अ चैरिटी। सी, अगर मैं कल ओलंपिक में मेडल जीतता हूं तो वहां पे मेंशन होगा कि इंडिया ओन द गोल्ड मेडल इन ओलंपिक्स। बंदे की जिंदगी भर की मेहनत उसने एक पल में शेयर कर दी पूरे देश के साथ। क्या हम हमारे प्रॉपर्टी का या हमारी अर्निंग का थोड़ा सा हिस्सा शेयर नहीं करना है, उसे सपोर्ट करना है कि हाँ यार तूने आज गोल्ड मेडल जीता है, ऐसे कितने सारे जो आकर बाहर गोल्ड मेडल जीत सकते हैं और हमें प्राउड फील करवा सकते हैं। अगर यही चीज देखा जाए कि कोई धोनी या फिर बड़े बड़े जो स्पोर्ट्समैन है उनको स्पॉन्सर करने से पहले नहीं सोचते कि हम चैरिटी कर रहे हैं या कि हम बिजनेस कर रहे हैं। सेम थिंग हमारे साथ भी कर सकते हैं। अभी मैं रियलिटी शोज में, डांस शोज में वगैरह आया तो मैं लगभग 7 से 8 कंपनीज का ब्रांड एम्बेसडर हूँ जहां से मैं अर्निंग कर रहा हूँ। दे आर लाइक कि वो चैरिटी नहीं कर रहे, वो मुझ में इन्वेस्टमेंट कर रहे हैं जिससे उनका फायदा है, क्योंकि मैंने उस प्रपोजल को उनको इस तरह से दिया है। तो ऐसे ही अगर हम जितने भी स्पॉन्सर्स हैं वो अगर इस तरीके से सोचने लगे तो इट विल बिकम ए चेंज, कि एक सोसाइटी का पर्सपेक्टिव चेंज होगा, एक माइंडसेट चेंज होगा कि हाँ यार पर्सन विद डिसेबिलिटी को भी हम इन्वेस्ट कर सकते हैं और उनसे कैसे हम अर्न कर सकते हैं। तो दिस आर द थिंग्स मुझे लगता है जिस पे हमें बात करनी चाहिए।
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Javed Chaudhary, for giving such a strong views and the real views, because he himself is facing those challenges. And he says it's not the question of 1% or 2%, it's the question of the entire population who are persons with disability. He says by keeping the name as Divyang will not change the status. Rather, you are creating something which is untouchable. Why? Treat them in a normal way. Don't think that they are abnormal. They are one of us. And that's why he says that first thing is the education. If we will not provide the education, if we are not creating the atmosphere that they can be getting the education in the normal schools, how they are going to serve tomorrow? Which corporate house will keep them? or if even they will keep them, they will keep them for such a petty job, which the person will not be able to handle it. And he says, as per the data which I read, that the maximum number of the sports person, wheelchair sports person are from the village. So when, or I may say the disabled persons, persons with disability, if they are from the village, rural area, how they will get all those facilities? So whose responsibility is this? He is asking a very, very basic question. Why? He has also mentioned that a person with disability is not going to get a normal wife or a spouse. If they are not going to get a normal spouse, it means their family, and they will be a burden on their family, either the parents, till the time the parents are alive, or the brothers, sisters, or the distant relatives. And today we know that in the society, even the brothers or sisters or the relatives are not bothered for you if you are not giving money to them, because everybody is so selfish, as everybody has become selfish, exceptionals are there. So when this is the status today, he says, until unless we will not be given that status, a normal status, we want the education, please educate them, we are not providing them. This is our fault. So all those points which he has raised are really very, very eye-opener. I'm sure when I will come and ask in the next round, he will be able to say few more things. And whatsoever he has said, really, it's really, really eye-opener, and very much it's a shameful for all of us who term themselves that they are normal persons. Rather, I will say they are normals. Persons with disabilities are normal, and we persons, we the normal persons are but we are divyang, because we have no sensitivity to see towards them. Rather, they are more sensitive. Thank you very much, Mr. Javed Chaudhary, for giving your views. Now, I would like to go to my next panelist. She is Miss Preethi Sreenivasan. Miss Preethi is the founder of Soul Free. She is the former captain of under-19 Tamil Nadu women's cricket team. She is a former national level swimmer. She is doing PhD in humanities and social sciences from IIT Madras. She has done her MSc psychology from University of Madras in 2013-14, BSc in medical sociology again from University of Madras in 2011-13. She was full-time writer with moviebuff.com from 2012 to 2018. She was ICA Women's Cricket Representative to TNCA Apex Council from 2019 to 2021. She is adaptive sports enthusiast, keenly supporting Paralympics, adaptive cricket, etc. She is a regular motivational speaker on TEDx and other forums. She won several prestigious awards, few of them, because there's a long list of awards. I'm so proud of her, but I would like to highlight few of the awards which are iconic leaders creating a better world for all, award from Women's Economic Forum 2020, World of Women Inspiration, awarded in 2019 from the Hindu Group, I Am Woman Award 2018 from the Karan Gupta Educational Foundation, Women Achievers Award in 2018, Bhumika Award in 2018, the Trump of Human Spirit Award, Kalpana Chawla Award for Courage and Daring Enterprise from the Government of Tamil Nadu in 2017, Shakti Award 2017 by Puthiya Thira Mural, a leading Tamil television channel, Karamveer Chakra Award instituted by United Nations, Rex Karamveer Global Fellowship 2016. She was nominated by Times Now, a leading Indian news channel, amongst amazing Indians in 2015. Femina Pen Shakti Award bestowed upon the top 10 most influential women in Tamil Nadu for the year 2014. Chosen by BBC Hindi as one of the top 100 women achievers in 2015. Preethi's inspiring story has found a place in the 10th grade English literature book of the Tamil Nadu State Board syllabus 2019-20. Hats off to you, Miss Preethi Sreenivasan. I missed many of your achievements and awards because you have really shown in this such a short time a person can achieve whatsoever he wants with or without disability. Thank you very much. I am obliged that you are joining and you are coming on my show. Ms. Preethi Sreenivasan, you have heard what Mr. Ravinder Singh, what Mr. Captain Lewis, as well as what Mr. Javed Chaudhary has spoken. And they have given their three different views. Although the things are same, but Mr. Ravinder Singh has given what the government or the corporate sectors are doing. The Captain Lewis has given the views about the challenges faced by the players and how the coaches, how the coaching is going on, how the players who are coming for the coaching, it will spend about 1,800 or 600 rupees and whatnot, from where they are going to spend every week. Every week, I'm sure, Captain Lewis, you have mentioned about 800 every day and twice a week. And Mr. Javed Chaudhary has given the practical thing that the persons with disability are uneducated because schools are not fit for them. So when these are the situations, hats off to you. You got so many awards. You have shown that even with a person with disability can do many things, but definitely this is not an easy journey. We would like to know from you the wheelchair sportsman challenges and solutions, Miss Preethi Sreenivasan. And if you want to mention about yourself something more about your own journey, you can mention, free to say. Miss Preethi Sreenivasan, please. And please.
Namaste, sir. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to be part of this amazing conference. As you said, Mr. Singh and Captain Lewis and Javed have all given very, very valid and valuable views. And I want to second all of their views because it's very clear that society's perception or our perspective on disability needs to change, fundamentally needs to change. And then comes access and all the roles we play. So we have been speaking about persons with disability and the literature and how it's spoken. Actually, I like to call people, I don't like the word disabled because this itself, the root of it means unable. So inability is called disability. So I don't believe that anybody is disabled, like Sir said, I mean, differently abled or whatever. So I believe that everybody is a person with positive ability. Even Einstein has been, he was failed in some exams in school. So he has said that if you're going to judge a fish on how he climbs a tree, all his life he'll be a failure. So like Javed said, it's about finding niches where people with certain challenges, these people can really perform at the best of their ability. So it's about finding the niche where they can fulfill their highest potential. So in my case, we are focusing on people with severe disabilities. Like Javed said, people with spinal cord injuries, their monthly expenditures can go up to 4,000, 5,000. So actually, even sport becomes a luxury because survival is at stake. When you are looking at finding enough to eat, there is no rehabilitation centers available for people with spinal cord injury in India. There are 3 or 4. There are people in every district, in every state who need this rehabilitation, but it's not available to them. And even the handful that do have this rehabilitation centers, they don't accept women. So I know, again, there is a question about if there are few only in the bigger cities of India, let's say Bombay or Delhi, what about people in the living in the rural areas and rural other parts of India? No facilities are available to them. There are no support systems from the government at all. So given a person with spinal cord injury, when they become injured, they are taken to the hospital. And even that, in the transport itself, they're held by the hands and legs. Many injuries are caused after the accident due to wrong transportation. And even doctors don't know much about spinal injury. They don't know about spine stabilization. They don't know about a lot of things. So many accidents are further compounded and made worse. So when a person becomes paralyzed either below the waist or below the neck, like I am, they're basically discarded. Like Javed said, the word used is rolelessness. We are pushed to a condition of rolelessness where we are not given education. We are treated as a shame and a burden, first of all, a curse. So we are not given education, we are not given employment, and then nobody will marry us because we are a curse, and we cannot become mothers because we can't be married. So these are the roles that women can play productively in society, and all these roles are taken away and we are pushed towards this situation of rolelessness where they are actually forced to commit suicide by the same family. I started an organization called Soul Free, which is working towards improving the quality of life of persons living with severe disabilities like spinal cord injury, where they become permanently paralyzed due to a split-second accident. Many road accidents, many people falling from heights. In our country, there is no harnessing or no security and protection for people working in construction sites. So when they fall and they get hurt, immediately there is no protection or support offered to them. So not only are their lives hurt, the entire family is hurt because they are the main earning member. If the main earning member becomes totally paralyzed, the wife, the children, all of their lives are gone. So we are trying to support people who are living with permanent paralysis due to spinal cord injury and who are living below the line of poverty in the sense that their entire family's monthly income is less than 5,000. So our main focus right now is in Tamil Nadu, but we know that if we go across India, the numbers are much higher than we think. Actually, in the US, the numbers are that one happens every 38 minutes. A spinal cord injury happens every 38 minutes. More than 18,000 cases every year, and more than 250,000, which is a 250,000 quadriplegics alive in the US alone, people who are paralyzed below the neck. In a tiny country the size of Ireland, 3 injuries happen every week. So this is less than in any state in India. So imagine if 3 happen every week in every state. The numbers are much higher than we can imagine. Because in India, a person like me, a woman with a spinal cord injury, I don't even have the luxury of being a statistic because no statistical evidence is available. There is no registry of how many injuries happen every year, what happens to them after they leave the hospital. Nobody knows and nobody cares. We seem to lack the intent, the basic intent. Like you said, in a country the size of India, where 1/5 of the world's population, 43% of that is the woman's vote. And should a woman with severe disability be around, there is no place for her to go and live with dignity and purpose. Till now, I'm able to live with dignity because my mother is there to protect me. But the day my mother is not around, I have nowhere to go. I might be the one pushed to commit suicide next. And I don't even have the luxury because my hands don't even work. So this is the kind of helplessness and rolelessness that we are being pushed towards, where things like sport and access and going out and getting married are almost a luxury beyond our thought because we are just trying to survive through the day. So in terms of sport, I have been extremely blessed and privileged. I am right now serving as the Apex Council member for women's cricket at the TNCA, the Tamil Nadu Cricket Association. And in terms of sport, they have already told the main part, like the equipments are so extremely expensive. It's very difficult. Soul Free has supported one person get a Paralympic wheelchair. It was more than 5 lakhs. But when we got it to him, Mr. Manoj, within 2 weeks of our getting him that wheelchair, he went and became the national champion. So it's not a lack of ability, but a lack of resources that is stopping us. So the access, the awareness, the expenditure, all these things. But finally, what I have found most importantly, for example, I'm speaking from cricket terms because cricket is in our blood in India. I mean, cricket is a fever in India. There's nobody who doesn't love cricket. But if you take it in the BCCI, none of the disabled cricket is even accepted formally. There is no official affiliation at all. So there are some local bodies here and there that are trying to promote cricket, but it's not given any support by the official body. We all know that the BCCI is the wealthiest board for cricket in India and in the world, but not one penny of that is coming to people with special abilities. Why is that? Whether it's blind cricket or even cricketers who are representing India, they're playing in Bangladesh, they're playing in Sri Lanka, they're playing in Pakistan, but none of them are officially recognized by the BCCI. This official recognition will automatically ensure that all the state bodies have to give support to the disabled cricketers, but they are not getting it. Any cricketer, whether it's a blind cricketer or a wheelchair cricketer, is not getting any support. Like Javed said, he's not earned a rupee till now playing cricket. There are people who have played for the country, and one person I know who died of COVID, nobody even recognized that. He's an Indian cricketer, an Indian sports person, a sports person who has represented the nation, but he is not given any respect, any value. So this needs to change. First of all, we need to have those rehabilitation centers that can train people to become able to do all those things. We need to equip them with the skills, both physically and vocational rehabilitation, so they can go there and become financially capable. If I'm sure if Javed is given computer training or whatever, now he's a brand ambassador and a celebrity, but there must have been a time when he was struggling. And unlike him, there are many others with amazing capabilities who are struggling because they have no chance to get an income. Basically, this is what the Soulfree is doing. Soulfree is trying to establish a quality of life, rehabilitation, and ensure the physical and financial self-reliance for people with severe disabilities. So this is our work, and I feel each of us can be the change, and each of us, you can learn more about our work at soulfree.org. You can check us out and do support us.
Okay, thank you.
I'll be happy to answer.
Thank you very much, Ms. Preethi, for giving such a honest version of what are the difficulties, challenges a wheelchair person or a person with injuries are facing.
Sir, if I might add one more thing.
Yes,
actually,
please.
when I tried, you spoke about how I'm doing my PhD, and I've become the first woman with a 90% disability to ever gain admission into any of their IITs, any of the IITs in their history, in their illustrious history. But I have again come through a very difficult process. When I tried to join a correspondence program, a long distance program, I was told, don't join. We don't have lifts, we don't have ramps, there are 15 days of practical classes, don't join. And mine became a battle, and only now I'm able to say that, I feel like I'm a battering ram. I go and break all these barriers, and then people like me can join behind and it becomes easier. So somebody needs to do that. We are all pioneers, and in that way, like the Helen Kellers of the US or wherever, we have to make the way. So both, it is a social change that is required, but we need to get out there and we need to speak up, and we need to make our voices heard. And this conference is giving us that opportunity. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Preethi. I have no words to say because I know that the real stories which you and Mr. Javed has put forward is such an eye-opener that even I am speechless. Only I can say today one thing before I will go to my next panelist is that for the first time in almost 1 year, because 21st March, I'm completing the first 1 year continuously for this media conference with Lal Goel everyday program. Today morning, when I check up my blood pressure, it was raised. I will tell you, because I was so much disturbed when I was doing research. I was no, I was it was anger which was coming to me, to what we have done, what our civil society has done, what our political leadership has done, and what you are saying. Because I think the next step you people should do is, please come closer to each other. Take some association of yours. The political leadership will only listen if they feel that there is a vote bank of you. Because right now, if you are 3 crores population in India, you are also a chunk of vote bank for them. Then definitely you may get something. Otherwise, to expect easily, yes, there are plans and plans and plans. It may take 5 years or 10 years or 20 years of very much. I have no words to say what you have said, because you have. Thank you very much, Miss Preethi. Now I would like to invite my last guest, and she is Miss Insha Bashir. Miss Insha Bashir is first woman wheelchair basketball player of Jammu and Kashmir. She played 3 nationals, first with West of India team at Hyderabad in December 2017, and second with Delhi team in September 2018 in Tamil Nadu, and third with J&K team as a captain in Mohali, Punjab. She believes the beauty of life is in the struggle it throws. There is strength in every struggle. She was selected for an international sport tour. She was awarded by VMS, district level basketball championships, Green and Crop, Save Youth, Save Future, Kashmir, Harvard, educational institutions, etc. Her achievements are: she participated in national level in Mohali, Punjab 2019, Jammu and Kashmir as captain of the women's team. For the first time, this team reached quarterfinals, and she was declared Player of the Year 2019. She represented India in USA in March 2019. She played national level in Tamil Nadu 2018, represented Delhi. She participated in the National Wheelchair Basketball Championship 2017 at Hyderabad, represented rest of India team. Welcome, Miss Insha Bashir, on our show.
Thank you so much, sir.
First of all, I will say that a girl from a remote area, because what the problems, challenges which we have heard is from those, even those who from the metro cities or big cities, but you are coming from a remote area, and that too from Jammu and Kashmir, and from there reach to this place. Thank you very much for joining our show. And you have heard all the earlier panelists. I need not to repeat. Now we would like to know from you the views of wheelchair persons, challenges, and solutions. Insha Bashir, please.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Sir, it's my pleasure that I am with you. I am joining you. Yes, sir. It was very difficult for me to do such a thing, to become a sports person. After facing that accident, when my spinal cord got injured, I had no idea what to do. Now, what will work for me? But yeah, I have faced depression for 5 years. So all from all these things, for all this experience, what I really want now is that कि अब मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है कि हमें शायद मुझे 5 साल नहीं लगते कि उस चीज से निकलने से, अगर मेरे पास अवेयरनेस होती, अगर मेरे पास वो फैसिलिटीज होती, जो मैंने फेस किया, जितने हर्डल्स मैंने फेस किया, अगर मेरे पास फैसिलिटीज होती, अपॉर्चुनिटीज होती, तो मैं 5 years डिप्रेशन में नहीं होती. एंड now what I have decided, what I want, what is my ultimate motto is to realization the concept of infrastructure accessibility in our country, and to influence and inspire the people from all the walks of life. ऐसा है कि जैसे मैंने स्पोर्ट्स ज्वाइन किया, मैंने वहां पे जितनी चीजें सीखी है, खासकर अपने कोच सर से, लुइस सर से, कि ओके, जब कोई इंसान एक्सीडेंट फेस करता है, और अब तो हमें डिफरेंट नेम्स दिए जाते हैं, जैसे जावेद सैड differently able, person with disability, दिव्यांग and all these things, जो हमें different name दे, इससे कुछ matter नहीं करता है. मुझे लगता है कि apart from determination, we should also constantly advocate for the provision of accessibility, infrastructure, facilities, and the attitudinal change in society. This is the high time we should think about inclusive system in schools, in sports, in everyday life. सर सबसे ज्यादा जो मैंने प्रॉब्लम्स फेस की आफ्टर माय एक्सीडेंट व्हेन आई बिकेम व्हीलचेयर यूजर, that was accessibility issue. I was not able to travel. I aspired to be a doctor, but no medical college was accessible in that time. I think society is not considering us our part. When the buildings are made, when the shopping malls are made, they don't think the people are like me. Some are on wheelchair and some are on crutch. They don't consider us their part. उनको दैट टाइम पे अपने आप को माइंड में रख के वो चीजें बना लेते हैं. उनको नहीं लगता कि इस दुनिया में और भी लोग हैं और जिनको बराबर का राइट है जैसे उनका है, और उनके लिए भी सोचना चाहिए, उनके लिए भी करना चाहिए. सो सर मेरा यही है, अल्टीमेट मोटिव यही है कि मैं इन सब चीजों में चेंज कैसे लाऊंगी, कैसे आगे बढ़ूंगी. और जैसे आपने कहा कि हमें एक साथ आना चाहिए, then only a society will change, then only the system will change. अदरवाइज ऐसा ये नहीं होगा कि अगर हम मांगते रहेंगे मारते, हमें खुद चेंज लाने आएंगे इन रियल सेंस. देन हमें लगेगा कि हमारी कंट्री, वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट अमेरिका, वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट यूके, सो हमें अपनी कंट्री के बारे में सोचना है कि हमें कौन सी चेंज लानी है. जावेद भैया इज राइट दैट ही वाज सेइंग द मैरिज एंड ऑल दीज थिंग्स. पहले ये चीजें मेरे लिए मैटर करती थी. नाउ आई थिंक दिस इज ऑल ड्रामा. ये सारी चीजें कुछ नहीं है, बहुत बड़े बड़े मैटर है इसके अलावा जो हमें सॉल्व करने हैं, जो हमें सोचना है, जो हमारे बाद में जनरेशन आएगी उनके लिए चेंज लानी है. अगर मैंने 5 साल डिप्रेशन में गुजारे हैं, मैं नहीं चाहती कि द अनदर गर्ल, खुदा ना करे, द अनदर गर्ल हु विल फेस एनी एक्सीडेंट और बाय बर्थ और समथिंग लाइक दैट has any kind of disability, कि उसको डिप्रेशन में आना पड़े. उसको पता होना चाहिए कि उसको आगे क्या करना है, उसको अवेयरनेस होनी चाहिए. And even sir, when I met that accident, my parents were not aware about these things. वो भी उस टाइम पे ट्रॉमा में थे, उनको नहीं थी गाइडलाइंस हाउ टू डील विद दिस चाइल्ड. नाउ आई वाज जस्ट 15 years old. सो मुझे लगता है हमें ये सब चेंज लाने हैं कि हम पेरेंट्स को भी कैसे काउंसलिंग करें, हम उनको भी कैसे मोटिवेट करें. लाइक इन कश्मीर, यू नो द situations in Kashmir. So वहाँ पे पेरेंट्स को पता ही नहीं होता कि बच्चा ये कर सकता है, वो अवेयरनेस ही नहीं होती है, वो ये कर सकता है, वो सपोर्ट क्या करेंगे. पहले तो हमें उस चीज के लिए चेंज लाने की उनको पता हो. ऐसे मुझे लगता है सिस्टम में होना चाहिए. अगर सिस्टम नहीं तो हमें रखना चाहिए कि अगर आपका बच्चा या समथिंग लाइक दैट इज with you, he can go for this, he can go for this, we can help you. Like अगर मैं बोलूंगी I will help you, I will guide you, तो और सारे लोग भी मुझसे जुड़ेंगे जो उनको काउंसलिंग करेंगे, जो उनको दिखाएंगे. जो जितनी प्रॉब्लम्स मैंने फेस की उनसे मैंने सीखा भी है. लाइक व्हेन आई जॉइन द स्पोर्ट्स, व्हेन आई बिकेम द फर्स्ट फीमेल व्हीलचेयर बास्केटबॉल प्लेयर फ्रॉम जम्मू एंड कश्मीर, मेरे लिए कोई कोर्ट एक्सेसिबल नहीं था, मेरे लिए कोई चीज नहीं था, नो कोच, नथिंग देयर. मैं किसी लोहित सर को नहीं जानती थी जो मेरी हेल्प करता, जो मुझे मोटिवेट करता, ऐसा कोई नहीं था वहां पे. बट एज Preethi ma'am mentioned rehab centers. They were as rehab center, लेकिन हर किसी को उस चीज के बारे में भी नहीं पता कि वो हमें rehab center join कर. There is a rehab center that is Shafakat Rehab Center, which actually gave me cake. So हमें पता ही नहीं होता हमें rehab center को ज्वाइन करना है. हमें वहाँ पे सिखाया जाता, हमारी काउंसलिंग की जाएगी, हमें पता चलेगा हम क्या चाहते हैं लाइफ से और हमें क्या करना चाहिए. So अगर ये more rehab centers बन जाएंगे in our country और जो सोच रहे होंगे खासकर इंक्लूसिव सिस्टम के बारे में, ना कि हमें कोई स्पेशल नेम, डिफरेंट नेम और हमारे नाम पे चैरिटीज एंड ये सब, हमें चैरिटीज नहीं चाहिए। आई डोंट थिंक सो किसी को चैरिटी चाहिए। आई थिंक हमें अपॉर्चुनिटीज चाहिए, और जो हमारी एबिलिटी है, टैलेंट है, अगर उसको परखा जाएगा, देखा जाएगा और जाना जाएगा, तो आई थिंक एवरीबॉडी इज एबल टू डू समथिंग रियली ग्रेट। लेकिन उसको अवेयरनेस हो तभी वो कुछ कर सकता है लाइफ में। और बाकी सब ये चीजें सोसाइटी या सोसाइटी इज नॉट सो एम्पैथेटिक टुवर्ड्स people like me, but it's now our duty. We have to change their thinking. Like that way I said about the marriage and all these things, seriously now this is drama for me. When I met that mostly the old ladies were like, who will marry her now? Her parents will not remain with her always. And these things they were talking in front of me, and I was a kid and I was overthinking about these things. Seriously, what will happen with me then? Oh my God, अब मैं क्या करूंगी? Oh my God, अब मैं क्या करूंगी? नहीं, अब मैं करके दिखाऊंगी। ये मेरी अब की थिंकिंग है, तब की थिंकिंग। Oh my God, अब मैं क्या करूंगी? मेरे साथ क्या होगा? मैं बिचारी हूँ क्या? No, I am not बिचारी. I have my brain and it's working. And I will change system. I think I have that ability. If other people will join me and we will become union, then we can change the system. And yes sir, I have got many proposals for marriage. Now it's me who is rejecting them. After becoming independent, it's me who's rejecting them because I'm not mentally prepared for that thing. I don't think that is the only thing to do. I want to do something really great. जब मैं जाऊंगी तो लोग याद करेंगे कोई इंशा बशीर थी, और मैं जाऊंगी तो मुझे लगेगा कि मैं सेटिस्फाइड होंगी अपनी लाइफ से कि मैंने कुछ किया जो दूसरों के काम आया, मैंने कुछ सीखा जो मैंने दूसरों को सिखाया, मैंने किसी को मोटिवेट किया। लाइक ओके, वी आर डूइंग जॉब्स, वी आर डूइंग दिस थिंग, वी आर अर्निंग मनी, तो वो हम अपने लिए कर रहे हैं कि ओके हम अपनी चीजों को, अपने लग्जरीज को सेटिस्फाई करने के लिए करते हैं कि हम ये करेंगे वो करेंगे। लेकिन डू वी रियली चेंज एनीबॉडीज लाइफ? क्या हम किसी को इतना मोटिवेट करते हैं कि उसकी लाइफ चेंज हो कि वो गिव अप ना करे, लाइफ में कभी गिव अप ना किए? बिकॉज एट दैट टाइम व्हेन आई वाज इन डिप्रेशन, आई वाज अबाउट टू गिव अप, आई वाज थिंकिंग अबाउट द सुसाइड, बट इट वाज ओनली माय पेरेंट्स जिनके बारे में मैं सोच रही थी कि नहीं मैं कैसे कर सकती हूँ, इतना रो रहे हैं मेरे एक्सीडेंट के लिए और ऐसा कुछ हो गया तो फिर। So that time thinking was like that कि and I was thinking how will I end myself, कैसे मैं करूं, कैसे मुझे अकेला छोड़ा जाए। तो अब मेरा यही है कि नहीं, ऐसा कोई और ना सोचे, उसको लगे ओके डैमेज हैज बीन डन, समथिंग बैड हैपेंड विद मी, बट दैट इज नॉट द एंड ऑफ लाइफ। तो जिस दिन मैं वो अभी आई डोंट थिंक सो सर यू गिव मी माय लॉन्ग इंट्रोडक्शन, बट आई डोंट थिंक सो येट आई हैव डन एनीथिंग रियली ग्रेट। अभी मुझे बहुत करना है लाइफ में, मुझे बहुत सारी लाइफ चेंज करनी है, खासकर इन कश्मीर एंड खासकर फॉर गर्ल्स, इवन इन माय होल कंट्री फॉर गर्ल्स। और भी बहुत बड़े मैटर्स आते हैं, किसी को हार्ट अटैक आया, किसी को ये आया, किसी को वो आया, किसी को ये चीज हुई। सो डू वी रियली थिंक अबाउट दीज थिंग्स कि इनको ऐसा क्या, उनको भी कोई डिसेबिलिटी होती है, वो या तो मेंटली सफर कर रहे होते हैं या कोई ऐसी चीज होती है जिस वजह से ये सब चीजें होती है। लेकिन अगर हम एग्जाम्पल बन जाए, अगर हम ऐसे मसलों के रूट तक चले जाएंगे, हमें पता चलेगा और हम अवेयर करेंगे लोगों को, तो किसी की जिंदगी बच सकती है, किसी की लाइफ चेंज हो सकती है, कोई हमारी कंट्री के लिए प्राउड फील कराएगा हमें, कोई हमारी कंट्री का नाम रोशन कराएगा।
Thank you very much, Insha Bashir. Only I can say that yes, you have that fire in the belly. You can bring
Yes, sir.
the glories to this country. And if we have such types of persons in our society, and society thinks that they are persons with disability, no, they are not the persons with disability. They are the persons with ability. And I must salute you. At such a young age, you are doing such a great thing, and you have such a vision, and you have that fire that you want to change the trend, and you want that the people should give full respect. I have questions, but the thing is the time is very short. So instead of questions, what I want is only 30 seconds. If you can say something, whatsoever you want to say, starting from Captain Louis, because the time is not there. So I would not like to ask, and questions are not required because you have spoken so much, everything. So whatsoever you want to say in 30 seconds. Captain Louis, please.
Yeah, thank you, sir. We heard Insha, we heard Preethi, we heard Javed, we heard Mr. Ravinder. The main thing is, I think we should stress on accessibility so that the players can be independent and go from one place to other. And then, like I said, we should explore the CSR route, corporate social responsibility, so that the players are not in financial problems. So I would focus on these two things.
Okay, thank you much. Yes, Mr. Javed, आप क्या कहना चाहेंगे?
फाइनली मैं कहना चाहूंगा इंशा से कि इंशा ने जैसे कहा कि उसने शादी के लिए रिजेक्ट किया, ये बहुत अच्छी बात है, वो उसकी खुद की पर्सनल चॉइसेस है। बट अगर मैं यहाँ पे कॉन्फ्रेंस में आया हूँ तो आई थिंक मैं रिप्रेजेंट कर रहा हूँ उन 3 करोड़ लोगों को जो कि घर के अंदर बैठे हैं। तो सबकी सोच इंशा आपकी तरह नहीं है, क्योंकि आप शायद एक उस मुकाम पे पहुंच गई हो कि जहाँ पे खुद सेल्फ डिपेंडेंट हो, तुम किसी पे डिपेंडेंट नहीं हो, तो आप वो सोच सकते हो। बट बहुत सारे लोग हैं, और एक जिंदगी का साथी होना मतलब ये नहीं कि हम उसके ऊपर बर्डन हो रहे हैं। जिंदगी में हर किसी को एक हमसफर की जरूरत होती है, शायद किसी को नहीं होती। मैं भी चाहता हूँ मैं शादी ना करूं, लेकिन हर किसी की सोच यही नहीं होती। देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल कि जिन्हें करना है।
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, Miss Preethi.
Yes, I first want to say that life is not about all the things we cannot do, but what we choose to do with what we can do. So if we all, both people with positive ability and other people walking around, can think about what they can do to be the change they wish to see in society, that will be really great. And wherever there are organizations like Tulsi that are working to uplift and empower the people who are the most vulnerable in society, if companies and the government can come to support us, that will also be really great.
Okay, thank you, Miss Preethi. Yes, Miss Insha Bashir, your views. Please unmute.
Yeah, Judge, I'm not saying that.
No, give your views. That is fine. You please give your views.
Yes, sir. This is the high time we should think about the inclusive system. Only then, in real sense, that our country will become inclusive, and sir, we should do something for these things. How we will make the things accessible in our country.
Okay, thank you very much. So today you have seen that the persons with disability, rather I will say the persons with ability, has spoken their hearts, and they have given what we, the so-called civil society and so-called political leadership, is doing with them. This is our responsibility. After all, they are also as Indians, as humans, as we claim that we are. If we are not there today to support them, then who is going to support them? So I think today's program is an eye-opener, not only for me, for everyone who is watching live or who is going to watch it afterwards. Please think that they are one among us. And if we will not support, thank you very much for watching our shows today, which was live telecasted by V4 News, Global TV, V4 Stream, Malnadu TV, News Gaon se Samvad Saroka News, as well as it was shown live on Facebook and YouTube. And our endeavor is to bring to you every day a new topic. And tomorrow our topic is media conference with Lal Goel, World Kidney Day, because tomorrow is the World Kidney Day. So we are going to have the World Kidney Day conference. And we have a panelist, our Reverend Father Davis Chairman, Kidney Priest, Founder, Chairman, Kidney Federation of India, Founder, General Secretary, Accident Care and Transport Service, Sur, Dr. Prashant Malla, Medical Director, Professor and Head of the Department, Urology, Andrology, Transplantation and Robotic Surgery, AJ Hospitals and Research Center, Mangaluru, Dr. Praveen Namudri, MD, DM, Consultant, Nephrologist, HOD, Nephrology, Bishop Benjir Hospital and NS Hospital, Medical Superintendent, Bishop Benjir Hospital, Kollam, and Dr. Venkatesh Kumar, Consultant Urologist, Enterologist, and Laparoscopic Surgeon, Sri Ram Singh Hospital, Noida. Please tune in tomorrow for media conference with Lal Goel at 10:30 a.m. And thank you very much, Captain. Thank you very much, Captain Louis. Thank you very much, Mr. Javed Chaudhary. Thank you very much, Ms. Preethi, and thank you very much, Ms. Bashir, for giving such a enlightening and eye-opener views. I'm sure our viewers are also enlightened and their eyes are also open. And I'm sure our political leadership will also think many things about the welfare of the person's ability. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.